What's up, guys? I'm a 25-year-old young man. Let's take a look at my watch collection. Alright, so I've ordered the watch box chronologically from the first watch I owned, being the black Casio in the top left, to the last watch that I purchased, which is this Casio Diver in the bottom right. So let's start with the black Casio. This is the W217H, and I got this from my mom as a gift during my first semester in college back in 2017. This was during my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I wanted a legal watch that would give me a leg up in exams. Back then, I didn't know exactly what to expect with exams, besides that they would be stressful and I'd usually be on a time crunch. And for that reason, I wanted a watch that would be both easy to read quickly and comfortable as well, since I didn't want the watch to be a distraction during the exams. The Casio did great for me throughout my degree. I wore it to the vast majority of my exams, and I'm confident that it helped me crush some exams. Every time I put this watch on, I knew it was time to feast. Now let's talk turkey, and by that I mean specs. This is a digital watch with a black resin band, and it's pretty much a modernized version of the classic Casio F91W. This watch was released in 2017, and it has some features like an LED backlight and a stopwatch, which the F91W does not have. Casio advertised this as having a 7-year battery life, which is pretty much exactly how long I've owned mine without needing to change the battery once. This is an extremely durable and versatile watch, and of all the watches in my collection, I've worn this one the most by far. In the 7 years I've owned it, I've probably worn it the equivalent of 2 or 3 full years with absolutely no problem. This is my daily driver, and I always use it if I'm doing rough tasks like working on my truck or working with machinery, equipment, or tools. I also frequently wear this watch when I work out, my man. In summary, for $20, this is an absolute workhorse of a watch, and I can't imagine getting more bang for your buck than with the Casio W217H. Next, we've got the Invicta Pro Diver 8932. I think I bought this for myself back around 2018 or 2019, and although I haven't worn it a ton, it has served me pretty well in that time. Now, Invicta gets a lot of hate for making cheap Rolex clones, having fake sales that make you think you're getting a good deal, and making really gaudy, over-the-top watches, but this watch is actually not bad for what it is. This greasy old bastard has a stainless steel band and bezel, a basic quartz movement, a mineral crystal, and 200 meters of water resistance. Ooh. The dimensions feel fine, it doesn't look too wonky or out of place, and for around $50 or so, it does a pretty good job actually as a sort of Rolex Submariner copy. In the 5 or 6 years I've owned it, the watch has accumulated some scratches and scuffs, but it still works and looks fine. I don't wear it often, and that's mostly because the band isn't very comfortable. I'm not a big fan of metal bands to begin with, but compared to the other metal bands I've owned, this one is particularly heavy and does a great job of snagging my arm hairs. I'm probably going to put a NATO strap on this little old big stainless steel dog. Anyway, I'm definitely not going to give this Invicta a glowing recommendation like I did the Casio W217H, but if you just want a Submariner lookalike for about $50, this is probably one of your better options. Alright, now third we've got the Ridgeline Denali with the NRA band. This was a gift from my dad sometime around the late 2010s, and I actually really like the look of the watch itself, but I'm probably going to change out the strap for a NATO band soon. I don't wear it all that much because I don't know enough about the NRA to represent them, and I don't want my watch band to be a conversation starter about a group that I'm not related to and know little to nothing about. But I want to be clear, not looking the gift horse in the mouth here. Now, before you guys start squawking at me for not supporting your Second Amendment rights, I must clarify that I do in fact support your rights. I'm just not representing an organization that I'm not a part of. Alright, the next watch is the Invicta 8935. This was a gift from my ex-wife in July of 2019, and it's essentially the same exact watch as the Silvertone 8932, but with two-tone blue and gold plating on the bezel and band, and with a blue dial. So I barely wear this watch, and when I do, it's only when I'm wearing a blue and gold Milwaukee Brewers shirt or some other blue and gold shirt where the watch complements my outfit perfectly. So it's pretty much only under extenuating circumstance that I wear this watch. And that's really the problem with Invicta, where they ride a bit too far out of the stable and they fail to rein it in. The Silvertone 8932 is fine, but the two-tone blue and gold on the 8935 is just a bit too much and it exposes more quality problems. For one, when you bend the links, you can see the gold colored plating doesn't cover some of the less visible area, which looks terrible. A couple other issues I want to note: the box was significantly cheaper looking on the 8935 compared to the 8932, and several of the link pins came installed the wrong way. But if I had to compliment this watch, it would be that it actually does look pretty decent with a blue and yellow outfit for under $50, and the rotating bezel is pretty smooth. In the 5 spot, we've got the Fitbit Versa 2. I got this sometime around 2020 or 2021, and at that time it served me really well. I mostly used it for tracking steps, but I guess it was also nice to be able to get texts and manage my music from my watch. It still works fine even in 2024, but I stopped wearing it around 2022 or 2023 because it's just annoying to charge it. I don't like the styling compared to standard watches. The connection with my phone is very unreliable, and I got annoyed at my wrist buzzing with notifications. I would say a huge drawback of the Fitbit or any other smartwatch in my book is that unlike a decent non-smartwatch, which is timeless, the smartwatches get outdated extremely quickly, and that's why I have no plans to add another smartwatch to my collection. Alright, there was a pretty sizable temporal gap betwixt the Fitbit Versa 2 and my next watch, the Casio A158W. If one watch in this watch box was to win the best in show for the lightest, lowest profile, and most iconic timepiece, it might be this cat. I bought this watch for myself in January 2024, and it served me honorably over this past year. The A158 has a vintage-style digital display, a green backlight, stamped and brushed links, and an easily adjustable clasp bar. And although the links are stamped, they are consistent and good quality, and the band does not pull my arm hair like the Invictas. Now, be mindful though if you're a big man, because this watch is extremely low profile and it might look out of place on certain wrists. I'll also note that I polished the band on this watch in another video with Mother's Mag and aluminum polish, so out of the box yours won't be this shiny. Please go check that video out and subscribe if you're interested. So in summary, for 20 bucks, I think this watch is fantastic. It's very light and low profile. It's not a cheesy or gimmicky watch. I wear this watch proudly with a variety of outfits, from shorts and a t-shirt up to low business casual, and throughout that range it draws compliments. Now over to one of my least favorite watches in the box, the Casio MTP-V005L. I bought this on Amazon in March of 2024 for about 30 bucks, and this is not a terrible watch. It's relatively comfortable, the chrome plating looks pretty good, it tells time, and I like the white dial. On the negative side, it's extremely loud, the fake leather band looks fake and cheap, and it's just a relatively boring watch overall. I find myself pretty much always grabbing a different watch regardless of the outfit and style I'm going for on a given day. This watch also has a snap-on back cover, so you'll probably want a watch press to reinstall the back cover if you change the battery. This was a rare miss by Casio. I think they were really horsing around with this one. Now, even trying to find information straight from the horse's mouth, it's really tough to find anything. It seems like the watch was discontinued, and for good reason. Honestly, if it wasn't annoyingly loud, this watch could have been pretty easily salvaged by a decent looking white or light gray band. Not to beat a dead horse here, but what a shame. Alright guys, now this is the one you've been waiting for. It goes by multiple names: the Big Dog, the Green Bastard, Maverick. It's the Citizen EcoDrive Weekender Garrison Field Watch. Now that's a mouthful. I actually like my names better. I bought this watch for myself in July 2024 during Amazon Prime Day for about 130 bucks, and it's been a fantastic watch for me. I'll cut to the chase and say this is the nicest watch in my collection, and it's not particularly close. The quality is great, the styling is fantastic, and it's dead quiet. My only big complaint about this watch is the strap. The nylon strap is just terrible, and I highly recommend replacing it with a NATO strap because the loops on the stock strap are way too far apart. Also, if one of the spring bars fails, you might lose this beautiful watch for good, my man. So get a NATO strap on it, make sure you don't lose it, and make it look and feel good. I actually just received this NATO strap today, and I'm going to swap it on shortly, so be on the lookout for that video, my friend. So, All in all, even though this strap is a moron, I think this is still a fantastic watch, and you can easily push it into elite level with a NATO strap of your choice. Also, check out my video on this specific watch if you're interested, and based on this watch, I definitely see myself adding more Citizens to my collection later, and between Citizen and Casio, it's really a horse apiece on which I'd say gives better value. Alright, now I bought these last two watches at the same time off Amazon in late September 2024 for about $30 each. One's a gray Timex Weekender field watch, and the other is a Casio Diver. Let's talk about the Timex first. I bought this Timex field watch after seeing that I really liked the Citizen field watch, but I wanted a more beater-esque field watch that I wouldn't mind quite as much if I got scratched, dinged, etc. And the Timex also caught my eye with the iconic styling and the unique gray and orange. For $30, this watch looks great, the strap feels great, it's extremely easy to get on and off. Now there is a clear drop-off in quality between the Citizen Weekender and the Timex Weekender, but I think they both look really good for their respective prices. Now, one huge issue with the Timex is the movement. It's extremely loud. If I don't keep my watch box closed, this watch keeps both me and my neighbors up at night. Just kidding about the last part, but seriously, this thing is extremely loud. It's preposterous. By far the loudest watch I own, even louder than the Casio dress watch. And it's a real shame because this ruins the watch for me when I'm considering wearing it to work or somewhere else quiet where I need to focus. And last up is the Casio 5058. Like I mentioned, I bought this at the same time as the Timex Weekender in late September 2024 for about $30. So I've owned it for about 2 months now. For a $30 diver, I think it's actually pretty good looking. The chrome-plated bezel pops, the blue dial pops, and the yellow second hand pops, my man. The stamped stainless steel links do feel a little cheaper and less consistent than the links on the A158, but they're okay. It's also worth mentioning that this watch is a bit big, so I expect it to wear better on big men as opposed to small men. But all in all, it's a fine diver for $30. It looks good from a distance. If you look up close, you can definitely start to see some problems, but it's a fine watch, not my best purchase, and certainly not my worst. Alright men, that's all of them. As you can see, I have 2 spots left in the box. I think one of them is earmarked for a G-Shock Casio, which will be an absolute stallion. But let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for that last spot. And as always, big thanks for sticking with me to the end, and please subscribe and drop a like to help the channel grow. We're on a mad dash to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and no promises yet, but a 500 subscriber giveaway may be in the works, so please subscribe and be on the lookout for that. And have a good day, my man.